Hello and welcome to another edition of ProtoMet's First Impressions. I'm ProtoMet.
I'm Tank.
He is joining me on this special episode because we are going to be talking about the first episode of Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger.
I'm not even going to attempt to say that.
It basically can be translated to King Squadron King-Ohger.
Still not going to. The ones where they're dressed up like knights.
Yeah, kind of, but not
really.
you, soldier.
Yeah. So pretty much the plot is.
It starts off with some ancient prophecy about, I guess, Bug Armageddon or something.
Yeah.
Bugnarok, I think it was called, or something.
Instead of Ragnarok.
Yeah. And how some prophecy about like 2,000 years after the bug the enemies were stopped, like a new team would show up to save the world or some such.
Yeah. So they're like giant robotic bugs that are just, I guess, dead.
I guess. Apparently the world now consists of like the 5 kingdoms, and apparently the kings or rulers from 4 of the kingdoms are being brought to the central kingdom to I guess fight together on this prophecy day.
Yeah.
We really do not get any development for these characters.
Not at all. Well, besides the red.
Yeah,
But that's about it.
we'll get to that soon enough. It is made abundantly clear that each of the kingdoms is different in their own ways. Like the central red kingdom is basically your fantasy medieval setting with robot bugs. Mm-hmm. It's like Zoids.
Yeah, kinda.
Kind of reminds me of like Zoids Chaotic Century.
That's a show I haven't watched in a long time.
Like as soon as I saw the like pill bug robots, it's like those are totally like those Zoids.
Yep, pretty much.
Oh, we got some other kingdom that's like technologically advanced. We got another one that's basically in Antarctica.
Yep.
Another one that's basically medieval Japan, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Like they're.
And then like the one kingdom that I don't even know how to describe it because they didn't really show us a whole lot of it.
No.
All I really know is that it's ruled by a queen and she has a butler. That's.
Yep.
Maybe I was just not paying attention.
Yeah, she becomes the yellow.
Well, obviously. Obviously all of them are color coordinated.
Yep.
We got the Snow Kingdom guy who's clearly the Black Ranger.
Mm-hmm. The tech one is blue.
We get the Japan medieval guy who's the purple.
Yep.
Also, bold choice to have a purple ranger on your starting lineup.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he's usually the, red, blue, green, a white, maybe, yellow, just like, it seems, usually how you say, the second, or the next, like the 6th one would become like the awkward color.
Yeah, the standard color lineup for Super Sentai is red, blue, yellow, green, and pink.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you might swap out the green for black.
Yeah.
Here or there. Mm-hmm. So.
We didn't get any information out of, really, that, we haven't got really any information from this first episode besides
just setting up the plot. It definitely has some fantastical set designs.
Oh, yes.
Locales. Which makes me cynical as to just how they're going to wind up cheapening out and making it just take place in Tokyo. Because they always fucking do that. I remember Q Ranger took place on different planets. I was enamored with the idea that it would take place on different worlds and we'd see fantastical scenery, and most of the season took place on Earth.
As it would.
It's like, I get they're loading up their budget for the early episodes to make it all look fantastical, and then they're going to cheapen out later, and that's just made me cynical.
Yep. Because all the different sets that they have for the different colonies is fan-fucking-tastic, but they're gonna have to cheap out eventually.
Yeah, that is definitely something that I am majorly concerned with. I mean, I'm hopeful that that's not the case, but I'm also not willing to be burned again with that kind of expectation.
You're gonna get burned. It's gonna probably be a 3rd degree.
We also get a scene in the Red Kingdom with this one guy named Gira, who I immediately knew was going to turn into the Red Ranger, but I was under the impression that he was actually the king of the Red Kingdom.
No, then we saw the king of the Red Kingdom.
It's like, oh, okay. I mean, it's still pretty obvious that this guy who's playing with peasant kids is going to be the it probably helps that he's literally the only person who has any color to their outfit.
Exactly. He's playing with these kids that are just wearing peasant clothes.
Just normal peasant clothes. And this guy has face paint on and red accents on his costume, and it's like, that something is special about him.
You'd think he was a higher rank, but I think he's just a peasant that has nicer clothes.
I guess. I mean, again, I was under the immediate impression that he was actually the king, which was bolstered by a scene where we have some government official demanding taxes from some peasants, and this guy comes, and then this guy, who turns out isn't actually the king, shows up and kind of chases him off by tomfoolery.
Yep.
I was under the impression that the guy who was demanding taxes didn't realize that the guy who's just come up to him is the actual king because he didn't realize it, but no, it's because he's not the king.
He's not the king. So
it has thrown me so much.
So at certain points where, the villains start to attack.
Oh, the Blue King doesn't want to join the Union because he's under the impression that the Red King, who has finally been revealed as being the actual king, Rocules, I think? Racules? Something like that? He is very clearly just the wanting to basically take over the other territories and just using this whole prophecy as an excuse to lord over the others.
Yeah.
Because he's all like, oh, well, our kingdom was the one who had this big central mech, and he's the one that all the other mechs combine onto. So he's clearly the leader of the leaders.
So pretty much, the villains attack the villages. I believe the blue one didn't morph.
No, it's
the purple, black, and yellow, and then eventually the red.
The yellow, purple, black Rangers. Obviously, the Rangers go out to try and protect the people of not even their country.
Yep.
Which, okay, good. And then we learn that Gira learns that the king is just sitting in his throne room letting the others do it all because he claims it's a noble sacrifice, a noble necessary sacrifice.
He is a narcissistic prick.
Yeah.
He thinks his shit don't stink.
Gira's whole argument is that the people are the kingdom, which is a valid argument, but the king's argument is, no, I'm the king, therefore I am the kingdom. Everybody else just serves me. It's like...
So he charges at the king, ends up falling,
but stealing the guy's sword.
Yep.
And then points it at him.
And his honor guard points their swords at him. guessing.
And so then Gira kind of goes into playful mode and pretends to be the Demon King, while taking the sword for himself, awakening the big rhinoceros beetle, stag beetle mech, and basically turning into the Red Ranger.
He, okay, there's a scene where the swords are very large, and very fake looking. Like,
I mean, they're obviously to sell toys,
yes.
obviously.
But as we were watching this today, he looks so confused.
He has like 5 switches on his sword, which is like, oh man, this is super complicated. It just reminds me of that one scene from Dogenger's Nice Buddy that was parroting scenes like this.
And then I just said, pop it, twist
like, oh
it,
my God.
pull it.
Like he said that, I was like, oh my God, that's what it looks like. That is so what it looks like. Oh, why is that such an overly complicated transformation sequence?
Because it is. It's not like it's Kamen Rider where you can go Henchy and then they transform.
Like even Kamen Rider has actually kind of started to dumb it down a little.
Well, you gotta keep the pose. Then the blowing up in the background after they transform.
But I mean, Kamen Rider tends to be the one that has those overly complicated transformation sequences.
What's wrong with, like, having a paintbrush or just a cell phone that you can just press a couple buttons and turn into a costume?
I feel like you're talking about one very specific season split into 2 shows. That's so weird.
I might have. Oh, I just did.
That described both Samurai Sentai King-Ohger and Power Rangers Samurai. So, it's like, huh. That was oddly specific for one half of the things you've actually seen.
I don't know why I selected those 2.
Oddly prescient.
Paintbrush and cell phones.
But anyway, super complicated Bop It sword aside.
Yep. There we go. That's a perfect name for it. Bop it, twist it, pull it. Red Ranger.
He boards the Stag Beetle mech, which I will admit has a nice looking control mechanism.
Yes.
Where we actually get like arms and stuff inside the mech.
Yeah, he's actually like going like this, making him actually move instead of just
standing there
or sitting in a seat. It's interesting.
It certainly looks unique in the Super Sentai series. I got to give them that. Mm-hmm. Crude, admittedly, but in a good way.
When I thought he was something was attacking him when I first saw him. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then I'm like, oh, it's helping him make the mech move.
Yeah.
Oh. Then
it combines with the other Zords that had from the other kingdoms to form the big Megazord, which we're just calling it. I don't know if what the name of this combined form is. We're just calling it Megazord because we're more familiar with Power Rangers.
Yep, it's definitely a Megazord. So it fights off all the grunts and the
giant grunts,
and
spiderwebs one guy and then slashes him in half or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and the kingdom is saved, and Gira is now a fugitive for stealing the king's sword.
Yep. I think they're gonna find a way to get out of this.
Based on the next episode preview, they're gonna go to the Tech Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So.
It was kind of funny when we started fairly early on in the episode. He was reminded of Attack on Titan, and then we had a giant grunt knocking down a wall, and it's like, oh my God, he was right.
I'm getting weird Attack on Titan vibes. We just need a giant, like a kaiju or a titan just to knock down the wall, and it ended up happening.
Like, I was dismissive of it because of how more mature Attack on Titan is. I mean, that's like half horror series.
Yeah.
An action horror series with, like, death all abound. And this is Super Sentai. I mean, that's something that Kamen Rider would do, no doubt. but not Super Sentai.
I'm not used to being so close to the things. Like,
and you're supposed to be the master.
I am. Sometimes they just don't listen.
But then,
Yep.
we get the scene where it's like, oh my god, it is Attack on Titan.
PG Attack on Titan.
PG Game of Thrones. It also had kind of a Game of Thrones-y vibe to it a bit.
Yeah.
With the whole 5 kingdoms competing for, like, dominance or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, just... I don't know what else to say. We kind of covered it.
I'm kind of expecting this season to be a bit of a down note, considering that the last 2 seasons have been really good. But hopefully I'm wrong and it turns out to be a really good season. Fingers crossed. But yeah, first episode didn't really leave me with too strong of an impression as to what to expect for the future. I'm not sure if it's a show that I will get that into, personally.
I'm just curious if the Red King, yeah, becomes more
Red King.
Red King. Or the king of the Red Colony becomes more evil.
I mean, he's already an asshole.
Yep. I don't know. So, yeah. Yeah.
Also, now that I think about it, the Red King kind of reminds me of one of the major villains from Kamen Rider Saber, which also had a lot of medieval sword fantasy type stuff going on in it. Maybe I'm just reminded too much of that because I didn't much care for that for a good chunk of it because it got stupid.
No, yeah.
Maybe that's just why I have such a...
Just like, you just seem so standoffish about it.
Maybe.
Who knows? Maybe the next couple episodes will be better.
Yeah, I can only hope that it changes my opinion, but I'm still expecting it to get cheapen out and just take place in Tokyo at some point.
Yeah, it's probably gonna happen.
I am very hopeful that a lot of my negative predictions are proven wrong.
And if you're 100% right, you're gonna go, I told you!
But yeah, so...
Yep.
Don't really know what else to say.
Me neither.
It's a pretty basic first episode.
We didn't get to know any of the characters. That's what the first episode...
Outside of Gira, but
yeah.
I think that was, kind of just an establishing his character type episode, which is... to be expected. We're not expected to immediately know who all the characters are from the get-go. That's hardly what I would expect.
But, with the... Excuse me. The trailer for the second episode seems like they're gonna focus on the blue guy.
Or at least expand on his role a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we're definitely going to have to figure out what to do now that Gira's a fugitive, but... they'll clearly figure that out as the series goes. So,
yeah. I don't know anything else to say now.
yeah, I got nothing. So,
Until
until next time, I'm ProtoMet.
Bye bye. I'm Tank. Bye.